There are so many big questions of life, and another one of the big questions is the question, who is God? I've read quite a bit about belief in God, and different researchers say that up to 65 to 80% of the world's population have some belief in a higher power. I think all of us have a journey in this relationship with God. And for me as a teenager, I was an atheist. I went through a period where I found it very hard to accept the ideas that I was offered about God. And yet at the same time, even though I was rejecting the notion of God, I was searching for something, I was looking for something. When I left university, I travelled. And I travelled through Southeast Asia, India, the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. And as I travelled, I lived in so many different religious communities, which is a wonderful experience to understand more deeply the beauty of each religion. But as I travelled, my question became, well, how do you experience? And especially, if there is a God, how do you really experience God? And when I settled in London, I was offered some ideas which I would also love to offer to you. And we've been focusing on the first step of practical meditation, that I am the eternal soul, this point of life energy in the center of the forehead. But God is also a soul like me. But I am a soul that has taken birth and rebirth, and I have reaped the fruit of my actions. My life experiences both happiness and sorrow. But God is a soul, but a pure soul, a soul that doesn't experience happiness and sorrow, a soul really beyond those feelings. And so the form of God that I see is the form of light, the point, the eternal form of God. And the wonder of that form is that it's changeless. God is changeless. Everything in the universe around us is changing. But God is that constant point and is changeless, remains changeless. The nature of God, if I can use that word, is eternal, always exists, immortal, beyond death, non-physical. This physical body is built of millions, even billions of little building blocks of molecules. We know that intimately from science. But God is a non-physical energy, like the human soul. The supreme soul is not a physical energy, is not material. But with that, God is also conscient. And that means that when I meditate, I'm just not meditating on a point, a form of light, a concept, a belief, an intellectual idea. I'm actually in relationship, in union with a soul, a living, conscient being. And in this being, this pure being, this divine being, is an ocean of love, an ocean of peace, an ocean of happiness, an ocean of purity, an ocean of power, and an ocean of knowledge. It's almost like, God is the generator, and when I connect, I'm like a battery that is charged with these divine energies. I think the challenge in this relationship is that God does not have a body. We have always had relationships where we can see people, we can touch people, and we can connect through our sense organs. But this is a different quality of relationship. This soul does not have a physical form. And this is the journey at the beginning of meditation, as to how to reposition my thinking to have a relationship with this non-physical being. And often the image which I carry is that God is on the FM wavelength, the FM frequency. Now when I, the soul, am body conscious, I think I'm a body with all its labels. I'm on the AM frequency. I can know that the FM exists, but I can't tune in. I can't get a station when I'm on an AM dial, when I'm body conscious. What I need to do is to go up to the FM frequency to really have that intimacy, that real connection with like the Supreme Soul or the lover of the soul. And so what I need to do is to become soul conscious. The more I become soul conscious, it's like the more I enter the FM frequency, and the reality of this relationship becomes something which is incredibly real. This meditation, this union with God, means that my mind becomes absorbed in God's qualities. And this is what fills the human mind, the human soul, with so much power and so many uplifting feelings. But perhaps we may ask, well, how real is this union? And I often have the thought that, thoughts and feelings are an energy. We know about light. Science tells us about light, that it travels at 186,000 miles a second. Thoughts are instant. As you've been watching this video, people have popped into your mind. They may live in your city, they may be on the other side of the world. They have a thought of you, you pick it up instantly. We all know that sometimes we think of somebody and then the phone rings, because the thoughts have an energy and they do touch. In the same way, as I start to have the introduction to God, as I become soul conscious and move on to the wavelength of the Supreme, I actually start to connect, a real living connection. And when this connection is there, I think the whole sense of self begins to change. My self-respect begins to improve, and I really feel a deep transformation through this loving relationship with the Supreme.